Alright, so today we're going to learn how to use the library .env, and what you can do with that is utilize a whole bunch of environmental variables in your node project. So it's pretty useful for a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to do two things for it today. So open up your terminal. I'm using bash, and I'm going to just cd into my proper directory where I want to make my file or my folder for this project. Go to GitHub, and then we're going to make directory, and this is going to be whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it demo.env. Bam. Alright, now we've got some more to work from. I'm going to close this, and then in my text editor, which I'm using VS Codium, which is just VS Code, but it's unmicrosofted. What am I doing here? Opening a folder. I'm going to go into my documents, GitHub, and then there it is, demo.env. So we've got our project open. Now we are going to make two files for now. I'm going to create new file. Oh, that's actually horrible. I don't want to do that. There we go. We're going to make a main.js. This is going to run most of our JavaScript, or this will run all of our JavaScript. And then I'm going to also create a .env. And this is where we store our environmental variables. Yeah, so we're good to go on that. And now we just need to load up our library. So if you go to npm's website and find the .env variable package, you will be at this page, and this is .env, which is a zero dependency module that loads environmental variables from a .env file into process.env. This is the way that we're going to actually be. Obviously, that's how we're going to access it. So if you haven't been on npm before, it's pretty great. It shows you how to install these libraries over here, and then this library, they all have their own instructions. So we've got a whole bunch of information. That's just another spot that it's telling you how to install it. The I is short for install. And then we're going to have environmental variables that look similar to that in our .env file. And we're going to be running this, which I might just copy. That's going to be, we'll come back to that in a second. So let's go back into our project and get our terminal up. I like using bash, I'm not going to use PowerShell. Alright, so we had npm install .env. That was taken from the page we were just at. So that's going to install .env for us as a dependency. You can see it right there. Cool, we're good to go. Now that we've got that going, we can double check here real quick that this is what we're going to be putting in here to use the library. So I'm just going to take that whole thing, bam, paste it. So we're requiring .env, and we do this config to make sure that it actually binds with our .env file. This is kind of a weird way to require something. I haven't seen anything else like that, but that's the way they do it. And it's always, you're going to want to keep that at the top or at the bottom of your imports. So we haven't imported anything else, so right now it's at the top of our page. But if we have, in a minute, we're going to do something else, so we'll have that up here instead. And then we get to run our code down here. And I'm just going to change this so that we've got a hello process.env, and then we'd have to, here we have to say what our actual variable will be. So I'm going to type name, and I'm going to put a little exclamation point. Now if we run it, it won't do anything right now because we don't have a .name anywhere. But if we go into our .env, we can create name, put that in quotations, and my name is Eric, I'm going to put Eric. So we'll save that, save this project, and just to show you where that comes from, that's what this is here. So we've got in our .env file, this is how they're making one variable. So this is the variable name that you're going to call, and then this is what it actually holds. That's the secret information. So let's run this, and we'll see in my terminal here. So we'll run node main.js because that's our file name. Bam. Hello, Eric. Cool, so that's working. So we're going to do one more library that's going to make this a little bit more practical, because that's really all you need to know, but that's kind of how many people are writing hello worlds, right? So we're going to do something that actually does something. So I'm going to go over here to npm opener. These are really easy to search for, by the way. This is how I get to these. I mean, you just bam, comes up here and you're just on the page. So opener, it opens stuff. So we're going to use this to type in a URL that will just open up in a new window. So that'll be pretty cool. npm I opener, copy that, and we will install it into our project. So I did the npm I opener. We've got it as a dependency now. Cool. Now we need to import it. So since we're not going to be changing this variable ever, I'm going to use const as opposed to let or var. And then I'm going to use opener as its name equals require opener. There we go. So we've got that. And now let's use it. So we'll check how to use it real quick. And here we go. So if you want to use it programmatically, so this is, it looks like you would be able to do it from the shell. So the terminal, we could do it like that. But this is what we want. We want to do something like this one. So I'm going to use that right there. Opener, we put some parentheses, and that's where our URL will go. But we don't need those, the quotation marks. Instead, we need to type process.env because that's how Node understands that we're trying to use our .env variables. And then I'm just going to type URL, which doesn't exist yet, but we're going to make that right now. So this would error out for us, but I'm going to come over here to the .env, type URL equals, and I'm going to bring us to the node page. So I'll close that as well so that you know it's not just me opening up a window or something. And paste that address in there. So cool, we'll save that. Now we have a name and a URL. And we are ready to run. So I'll type node main.js again, press enter, and there it goes. It just opened up nodejs.org for us. And then if we go back, we can also see that it said hello Eric. I had a couple more caveats I wanted to say about this too. .env, you never want to actually push to your version control, so you never want to have a .env file on your GitHub. That's bad business, because you could have, usually in here you'll be keeping API keys or something that you're actually trying to keep private. You don't want anyone to know about them. And if you push this to GitHub, anyone can find out about them. So there's a way around that. And if you made this through GitHub, or like if you made like on your GitHub new project, it's gonna already have what I'm about to do in it, most likely, but we can do it from scratch. So I'm gonna do something called .gitignore. And this by default is ignored by anything that uses Git, which is version control. So in here, all we have to do is just type the name of the file that we want to be ignored, which is .env. So we'll do that. And if we were, I don't have Git in this project, but if we were, the .env file would turn into like a dark gray. It would just be a different color. So you'd know that it would never be pushed forward. So that's one way around that. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that was what I was going to say. So since we have a git ignore, and you push this stuff to, if you push it to GitHub, nobody knows what to do or what your .env looks like. So they're going to be kind of confused. So we're going to make something to help them out, which is, we'll call it .env sample. And it's going to be pretty much the same thing we have here in the .env. So I'm going to copy it and paste it into .env sample, but we're going to change everything inside of these quotes. So this would be something like your URL, and instead of my name, you'd put something like your name, and then people can kind of have an idea of what you're supposed to do. So they know they have to have a name and a URL, and then that's where they're going to put their specific information. So there we go.